and I think we are slightly behind time, so what I will do is I will not give any introductions, I will not give any of my thoughts, and hand over to the speakers straight away. So would that be, I believe you're going to make a presentation? So to begin with, I'll hand over to Commodore Uday from ECIL, and I can't see Dr. Shiva there. If he doesn't come in time, then I've attended enough seminars with him. I will speak what he had. All yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Commodore Neeraj Uday. I served in the Navy for 32 years and in 2023 took a lateral shift to Electronic Corporation of India Limited. I will just give a brief introduction about our company. How does it work? Yeah. So ECIL is a government PSU which was established in 1967. We are under Department of Atomic Energy. Why under Department of Atomic Energy we are not a defense PSU? Because the company was actually formed to look after the need of the nuclear power plants, the need of the VARC, and the purpose was that all the nuclear power plant and other nuclear reactors which are being installed in the country, their controls and instrumentation will be manufactured in-house in ECIL. So that is what was our primary purpose. But in these 40 years, we have diversified into the various fields. One is the nuclear vertical, one is defense vertical. Almost 30% of our revenue comes from defense. And there is aerospace vertical where we make antennas. And I am General Manager Homeland Securities. And my reason of primarily being here is that we are into jammer business. We make our own jammers, and you see this VIP vehicles which move around with the Prime Minister and all other dignitaries. That is the 5G jammer, which is our in-house product. We also make EVM machines. In this country, EVM machines are manufactured in two companies. One is ECIL and one is Bharat Electronics. So 50% of EVM machine production in-house, designed and manufactured, happens in ECIL. So I had prepared a small presentation on drone, but I think there is no need for me to go through all these things because most of you are well aware of all this. But the drone has become a critical issue, a critical component of war or for anything else. And these are the various evolution or the advancement of technology which has taken place over the years. So the drone application, as you can see, all you can see is these drone applications you are well aware of. The last corner, if you see, this is a drone which in ECIL we are trying to come out with. That is called CBRN drone. That is, the drone will have the chemical, biological and radiation detectors on the drone. Just to give a brief introduction, in the new Parliament building we have just completed a CBRN project wherein we have installed more than 110 nuclear, biological and radiation detectors and taken them into a ICCC. We have also given a QRT vehicle which has these detectors and seamlessly integrated with ICCC. So from there we took this idea and we are in the process of developing it. Now, type of drone you all are aware about. I need not emphasize on this. These are the types of the drones. We are not a drone manufacturing company. I was just giving an introduction to the drones. Now, these are the various threats. And so what we do in ECIL is we manufacture anti-drone system. When we say we manufacture anti-drone system, the detection part we have not yet manufactured, but the jammer part is 100% in-house manufactured. Now, if you have to do a drone, what are the challenges in detection of a drone is what I have listed in this slide. They have a very low RCS. So it becomes extremely difficult. You want me to move? Oh. It becomes extremely difficult with this low RCS to detect any drone. Then they have a low flight, they're not flying at very high. Then you have SOM saturation and cost asymmetry. You know, here with Air Chief, we talked about the drone application and drone in the war. But if you have to use a Akash missile to bring down a drone, then this is cost asymmetry absolutely. And there is a collateral risk. So we have our own product of anti-drone system. We call it SDJ Mark 1, and it has got two features. One is we have what I am indicating there is one is the RF detector, one is the antenna, third item there is the jammer and the GPS spoofing. They are the only four things we do in our anti-drone system. Now, how do you detect a drone? Detection of drone happens through RF detection or through a radar detection. Radar detection, detection of a drone through radar is not easy. Now in RF detection, what you do? The drone is communicating with its base station, with the flight controller in various frequency bands. These bands could be 2.4 gigahertz, 5.8 gigahertz, 5.2 gigahertz, and also at 433 and 915 megahertz. Now the very purpose of RF detection is to detect these frequencies. And when you detect these frequencies, you have an antenna, I'll just show you, and then we come to the drone neutralization. Our drone system is only soft kill. We do RF jamming and we do GNSS spoofing. Now RF detection, if you see the antenna on top, that antenna, it's a stationary item, whereas the reflector inside the antenna is rotating 360 degrees. And you have DF also there. So what we do is, whatever is the RF environment available, there is a filter which filters out these frequencies, the frequency at which drones operate. After that, down below is a software defined radio. This radio, this SDR rather, it's not a radio, will demodulate the signal. It has got a library of various protocols. It checks with that protocol. There are various methods of breaking, because the communication between the drone and its base station is happening through a protocol. So it checks the protocol, and then based on that it identifies the drone. It gives you the parameters which the remote station is communicating. So that's about all is what we are doing in RF detection. So you have a direction finding antenna, you have a RF and DF sensor. Once you know this data, and in addition we have an additional unit which is a Ku-band radar. Now all these items will detect drone only up till the range of maximum 12.5 kilometers. I don't think any other drone detection system you will have range of some 50 kilometers or 100 kilometers. That may not be very accurate. And then what you do is you jam these frequencies, the frequency at which drone is communicating. Now this is as far as the system is concerned. And you also do GPS spoofing. Now jamming of frequency, what happens is, see, as on today, there are open protocol on which drone is communicating with the remote station. But if you take, for example, DJI drones, the all over world, this is the biggest manufacturer of drone. Now DJI drone has come up with a new protocol of OcuSync 4. And OcuSync 4 is AES 256 encrypted. Now, the way anti-drone technology is the way drone technology is advancing, the anti-drone technology also need to advance at the same pace. Now, when the drone is communicating with AES 256 encryption, it is extremely difficult to decrypt it. So now the anti-drone system available in market, which says that it is able to decrypt AES 256 communication, OcuSync 4 communication, you can be rest assured that the anti-drone system has also been developed in collaboration with DJI. So this is the kind of interdependency and difficulty in having an anti-drone system. GPS spoofing, you all are aware that GPS communicates with the drone in L1, L2 and L5 frequencies, generally on L1 frequencies. And what you do is you have enough solution available in the market to replicate the GPS signal. So you give a wrong GPS position to the drone. But nowadays the drones have come with return to base capability. That moment the drone gets to know that it is being jammed, it will go back to base station. So these are the challenges which an anti-drone company faces. So these are the emerging technologies in the field of anti-drone technology. We can also have an anti-drone system with on a drone. See, the important thing about drone navigation is the GPS signal. Now with the quantum navigation technology now fructifying and coming in due course of time, we don't know how it is going to be. Then how do you jam that kind of drone? So this is how I have tried to conclude my presentation. You have a very low cost drone. However, with the advancement of technology, the drone detection is becoming more and more difficult with passing time. Somebody mentioned about CRPA antenna. Now they use multi-antenna frequency hopping. So the anti-drone technology has to evolve with the evolution of the drone technology. And as ECIL, like Air Chief said, that the bigger companies should collaborate with startups and all to give them opportunity. Yes, we are a company which is doing a business of almost 3,000 crores. And we have a R&D fund, and what we have done is for the anti-drone system, we have come out with a expression of interest (EOI), wherein we have published it on the CPP portal, and the companies who are interested in tying up with us at our cost, we can work out. So I would request the startups to keep a lookout for such EOIs. We came up with an EOI for prison jammer, but hardly we got a very few response. So if this is where the startups are interested in collaborating with PSUs, most welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commodore. Quote, I'm not sure who it was, I think it was William Shakespeare who said that when you're the last speaker, standing between the people and lunch, be brief.
Thank you for that reminder, sir. Okay, quickly, respected Chairman, distinguished dignitaries, senior officers from the armed forces, representatives from the government, industry colleagues, and ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I know what kind of pressure has been there on me now that sir has reminded me about the standing between the audience and the lunch. Okay, so I will not dwell much on the technicalities, but however, where required, I might touch upon a little. Otherwise, my basic topic today is building an indigenous counter-UAS ecosystem for Bharat. So here there is it's a sort of vision how the user should see this subject, how the government policy makers should see the subject, and also the industry, how they should see. So this is broadly my plan. So I'll try to conclude it within the allotted time. So it is indeed a privilege to speak on such a subject that has become one of the most critical national security priorities, building a secure and self-reliant airspace. Until recently, airspace security was synonymous with defending against aircraft, helicopters and missiles. Today, the greatest challenge often comes from a platform weighing just a few kilograms. Drones have fundamentally changed the nature of warfare and security. They are inexpensive, easily accessible, highly adaptable and increasingly autonomous. A lot of details have already been covered by my predecessor, so I will quickly go through this. More importantly, they have shifted the balance of power by enabling low-cost systems to create disproportionately large strategic and tactical effects. What was the asymmetric warfare that was brought out by Commodore sir before me? The wars in Ukraine, the Middle East and other recent conflicts have demonstrated that drones are no longer supporting assets. They have become primary weapons of war. Swarms of drones, loitering munitions and AI-enabled autonomous systems are redefining the battlefield. The question today is, therefore, not whether drones will become a dominant threat, but whether our counter-UAS capabilities can evolve faster than the threat itself. One of the things which, since I represent Zen as an industry representative here, one of the things which our CMD always says is Zen, or I should not take the name because I'm not here on a promotional talk. So basically we must, as an industry, we must always prepare for the next war, not just cover up what has happened during the last conflict, learn lessons and now try to rectify that. We should always be prepared for the next war, maybe after 2 years, 5 years, whenever it is. So that is technology prediction, what is likely to get imbibed into the system and in what way can we empower our armed forces. That is the most important thing. Okay, now, so what's the CUAS challenge? Sir has already covered a lot of it. Countering drones is far more complex than simply detecting and shooting them down. It is not merely the detection and neutralizing them, but there is much more to it. A modern CUAS system must perform an entire operational kill chain, which would be detect, identify, classify, track, decide, neutralize and assess the damage. Failure at any stage can compromise the entire mission. The biggest operational challenge is that today's drones are becoming increasingly difficult to detect. They fly low, have very small radar signatures or the RCS, use composite materials and operate amidst heavy ground clutter. Many are now capable of autonomous navigation. They don't rely on GPS. GPS denied environments are no more an obstacle for drone warfare. Frequency hopping, resilient anti-jamming techniques, which was also covered earlier, GNSS denied operations and even fiber optic control, making conventional RF jamming alone insufficient. So this is why there is no single sensor or no single effector that can solve the drone problem. Let us now look at building a layered CUAS ecosystem. The future lies in a layered, integrated and AI-enabled counter-UAS architecture. Detection must combine multiple complementary sensors, ASA radars, passive RF sensors, electro-optical and IR sensors, acoustic sensors and other passive surveillance technologies. So this whole stack is what is required in a truly effective CUAS ecosystem. These sensors must not work independently, they must be integrated through AI-driven sensor fusion, creating a single, accurate and real-time air picture. This is very important. Artificial intelligence is rapidly becoming the brain of future CUAS systems. It enables automatic target recognition, behavior analysis, swarm detection, threat prioritization and decision support, which while dramatically reducing the operator workload and response times. So I'll just quickly show you this has already been covered now. So this is a typical threat and the response vulnerabilities in drone warfare and what are the drone threats. This was also covered to some extent in the previous presentation. Now what is there in the center? Protected airspace, sovereign. That is very important. Now this is again self-explanatory. What I would like to highlight here is current challenges reflect the maturity curve and not the failure of any system. It's a continuously ongoing evolution. Drones evolve faster than the CUAS because it takes time. CUAS is a larger hardware and it doesn't change significantly by minor tweaking. It goes through a loop again. So therefore, if there are some drones which cannot be tackled by our CUAS, it's not a failure of a system. It is just we are at that particular instant in the maturity curve of the development. So that should be understood. But however, the main takeaway is that every nation should have indigenous CUAS capability, their own CUAS capability. Now, equally important is the concept of comprehensive layered defense. Modern counter-UAS is no longer about deploying isolated sensors, which I just covered. or standalone jammers. It is about integrating complementary sensors with multiple soft kill and hard kill effectors into a unified defensive architecture capable of addressing the full spectrum of drone threats, which was, I just flashed the full spectrum of drone threat. Then now, as far as Indian industry is concerned, the good thing is that it has begun moving decisively in this direction. A lot of vendors, a lot of companies in the Indian industry have started realize this and trying to create this complete chain under one roof. Maybe there are various stages where each industry might be, but this is what we are headed in the right direction. That's what I wanted to highlight. Solutions such as Zen Technologies Vyom Kavach. Vyom Kavach is nothing but the sky shield. Exemplify this architectural approach by bringing together a complete range of indigenous detection sensors, AI-enabled command and control, and multiple neutralization options into one scalable ecosystem. Such integrated capabilities allows the defender to select the most appropriate response based on the threat, environment, and the operational requirement rather than relying on a single technology. This is very important.
William Shakespeare is watching.
Sir, I am sure you will allow me the luxury of 2 minutes by virtue of absence of third speaker, sir. Yes. Having said that, now let us consider counter-drone swarms. Perhaps the most significant challenge ahead is drone swarms. Traditional air defense was designed around engaging one target at a time. Drone swarms completely change the equation. Future CUAS systems must therefore be capable of simultaneously detecting, tracking, and engaging dozens or even more of coordinated aerial threats through network sensors and multiple effectors working together. Just a word, I'm just going back to the first session of the day, which was moderated by Colonel Manik Anand. There was one major question: what should be the capacity, Indian manufacturing capacity? There was anything from 3,500 per month, I think. But then please remember, the capacity has to be understood in this sense: what you send out will never come back. Hardly 10% of that may come back. Most of your missions, you are meant to overwhelm the enemy. You are supposed to send not dozens, you are supposed to send hundreds and waves, which most of them will not come back. So the replenishment rate should be of that order. And you just consider one formation like this across the entire engagement scenario. There will be thousands of drones going every day, and in across over a period of, let's say, 2 or 3 weeks, you can imagine. This is a warfare which is of attrition. There is not going to be a culmination point. It's ongoing continuously. So therefore, 5,000, 4,000 is not an answer. I think it should be much higher than that. And I'm sure the Indian industry, defense industry, is capable of handling. There are plans. There are plans even in the industry. There is engagement from the highest level within the government. They do call the industry. They interact. They actually assess the capability. They even offered to give, holding hand in case there is something which is missing link. So that kind of engagement is there. The authorities, the highest decision-making authorities, the leaders in the industry, they are all seized with the problem. So therefore, so let's talk about something like more than 10,000 to 15,000 drones per month output. By a single company, they are expecting something like 10,000. So this is the kind of visualization that is happening. So we are. So that is the kind of opportunity and also a challenge for the industry. So this is where layered defense becomes essential. Okay, soft kill techniques such as RF jamming, GNSS denial, protocol manipulation, and cyber effects should always be the first of the response chain. Hard kill solutions including interceptor drones, directed energy weapons, high power microwave systems, and kinetic interceptors must complement them when soft kill options are ineffective, which is soon going to be the future of this warfare. Progressively, almost all the drones are going to become capable of complete silent operations, or dark drones. They are called dark drones. They don't reveal either through RF, even through their physical signature. It's going to become beyond bigger challenge for the radars in future. Okay, I'll just quickly tell you. Sorry, this is a video of a 40 millimeter, like Z Technologies as one of those companies which has already integrated the hard kill successfully, demonstrated and delivered more than 2 years back. So taking that forward, we have now created a whole range of hard kill options. The air defense guns are one part. Then there are all sorts of automatic weapons, heavy machine gun, NSVT, MMG, any class of weapon. And any user has 20 mm cannons or 30 mm cannons that can also be integrated, because the challenge there was the ballistic computation and getting the kill. So that was what was achieved by the first round in 40 millimeter L70, and that has got a range of 3.5 kilometers. So therefore, that Vyom Kavach, which I just made a mention, that is covering a whole lot of sensors and a whole lot of shooters, effectors. So I'll just quickly, I'll just take 1 second, 1 minute. It's a L70 shooting.
Shakespeare's dead in any case.
Can I have some volume? Okay, so this is actually the ATP trial where 40 millimeter L70. This is right now unmanned, being fired remotely from the CUAS system, which we have delivered to that Army Air Defense College. The two boys standing on the gun are the loader numbers. Who has a high rate of fire gun? Should there be ammunition, they have to reload. So the moment data fusion happens both from passive and active detection, then there is a fusion symbol, that is a triangle red which you see, and through that you can automatically cue the camera. The camera has been cued, camera has started tracking, as you can see, and then at an appropriate time, whenever you want to engage it, you can engage it. It's a very small target, 0.01 square meter RCS. That is actually a little smaller than 0.01. Since it was to be shot down, we have given a customized drone. So gun has been given the engagement cue from the system. Now the gun has started following the target's future position, which is ballistic computed. Yeah, again, your attention to the UIR screen. So everything is done from remote. In air defense jargon, it's called RPC, remote power control. So it is being fired as if it is being fired from the radar. It is being fired from our CUAS. So this has been extended to all other weapons, and quickly, one system is not adequate. The user has got various types of requirements. The Army, Navy, Air Force, CAPFs, and the BSF. Everybody has got a different kind of requirement. So various variants are there, and we have the capability to convert it to any user customization. So these are the single vehicle configuration, 2 vehicle configuration, containerized, and then ground deployment, and also man portable. Next slide. Okay, this is the illustration of a vehicle mounted counter swarm drone system, which is the one which is going up for trial in the next month. This is nothing but micro missiles to be cued just like the L70 gun. This is to be cued for swarms. You can fire single rockets or multiple rockets, ripple or salvo fire, so that the swarm, in the swarm you should be able to destroy more than 3 to 4 at least. With a single, if it's a very close knit swarm, more targets. If it is a spread out swarm, then the challenges here are not so simple. You have to track not a physical target, you have to track a centroid which may or may not be on any drone. So this is a kind of challenge. Okay, this is the man portable version with radar, which is one of the requirements from the infantry. Man portable, lightweight, quick, high mobility vehicle, and of course we have many other versions. These are the something which we are delivering in Eastern Command. This is entirely Hilux vehicle based. Since they wanted a 100 kilometer spoofer we had to give them an additional vehicle, otherwise it's supposed to be a 3-vehicle configuration. So this is where I want to tell you about the pause. Sorry. So this is low RCS. What this clip shows is 0.001, which you can see in the lowest line in the 001. That is the thing, and 3518 kilometers. 3.518 kilometers is the detection of 0.001. And just to give a sense of RCS comparison. So this is what the yellow circle, which is 3.57 millimeters, slightly bigger than a 10 rupee coin, is what was detected and tracked consistently up to 3.5 kilometers. So that is the kind of low RCS capability. Now, my predecessor, sir, Commodore sir, had mentioned that this is one of the challenges. Yes, it is really a challenge. It is not so simple getting 0.001 at 3.5 kilometers. At the same time, currently we have up to 20 kilometers radar range, but the user is driving the specs to such an extent, he wants this 0.001 at 5 kilometers, and also the maximum range of the detector should be 50 kilometers. This is one of the projects, lightweight, low level radar, which is going to be in AD role as well as country base role, common system. So that is a kind of challenge, and we are also working on this. So low RCS is a big issue. So therefore, what I wanted to tell is, you cannot just do with a radar or a RF detector system. You need to have all possible sensors to get a AI-enabled decision, which has to do a lot with the data fusion, which is very critical part. Is the brain of the CUAS system. As drone numbers increase, individual CUAS systems must evolve into interconnected defensive networks. Multiple CUAS nodes deployed across an operational area should function collaboratively rather than independently, sharing tracks, sensor data and engagement status in real time. Sir. Such networking creates overlapping coverage, eliminates surveillance gaps and establishes what may be described as a continuous drone wall. That is what should be the final national aim. There should be no gap. Continuous drone wall, nothing should at least go undetected. Drone wall capable of providing persistent protection to military formations, critical infrastructure and strategic assets. Sir, I'll close in one and a half minutes, sir.
Sit that 1 minute.
No, I just digress, sir, because that low RCS I just
take it.
So building an indigenous CUAS system. India today possesses a vibrant and rapidly growing defense innovation ecosystem. We have companies developing advanced radars, RF detection systems, electro-optics, electronic warfare suits, AI software, interceptor drones and command and control systems. But the crux of the matter is everything there under one roof. That is what is most important. The user must appreciate this. What are the pitfalls of having a vendor supply to you who is himself dependent on multiple sub-vendors? I'm talking at system level, not at subsystem level. Subsystem level we all have to depend, but at system level, finally I should own my own radar, my own passive detector, my own UIR. Maybe it's not possible for small companies, but that should be the ultimate aim, to own this CUAS and in the national interest. That is what is required and desirable. And even all the effectors should be part of under the same roof, in the same system, because then it gives you scalability, adaptability, customization, obsolescence proof. It becomes, life cycle support system becomes so much easier. We will never be held to ransom by any global dynamics if everything is there indigenous. So therefore, we have companies developing, I already mentioned, the opportunity before us is not merely a manufacture individual components, but to build complete indigenous counter-UAS ecosystems. True self-reliance means owning the complete technology stack, from sensor and AI algorithms to mission software, command and control systems and neutralization technologies and lifecycle support. Okay, equally important is one more thing what I just want to quickly cover is, just like we have the IACCS in the Air Force, which is a complete national level air situation picture. Similar thing is essential for the drone airspace picture, because drone, unlike the air the vectors which are being monitored by the Air Force, the drones are something in the tactical arena, they are very transient in nature. They are there for 15 to 20 minutes, then they disappear, and they are in huge numbers. We cannot afford to clutter the main ISCCS with this. So we have to have our own counter drone. In the counter drone system architecture, we should be able to vertically integrate, laterally integrate, and take the drone picture to a common point at a higher decision making authority, where low level complete airspace air drone situation picture is available, akin to ISCCS. So policy and interchange is also.
No, we just quit it that. Come.
So, right. Thank you, sir.
Okay, do we need questions or has he already said everything? So we will have 2-3 questions quickly.
Yes,
you can answer in that. The policy can come if somebody asks about the policy. Please take your seat because we're running way behind time and we need to catch up also. Yeah, you can show the picture if you want quickly without any commentary behind it. So I know we're short of time, just 3 quick points and thereafter we'll take 2 or 3 questions. One, the cat and mouse game between technology and anti-technology will always continue. In the Navy, we talk about sea control or sea denial. We have to decide if you can't master technology, at least master the anti-technology, so the technology cannot be used. Normally, but not always, the anti-technology is easier than technology, not always. Maybe in case of drones, dependable. Second, you mentioned about prepare for the next war. I'm not really sure if you're preparing for the next war or even the next technology, because that's always difficult. We have to move beyond just area defense and point defense to individual defense. Each individual soldier, because the smaller drones will target each individual soldier also, so you can't just talk about, and you can't use missiles. Everybody's talking about jamming and spoofing, and will they work against MIL or the frequency you mentioned, the MIL grade systems? Meakening is what very few firms are talking about, 2-3 firms are. So I'll encourage everybody, go to the exhibition. There's some firms who've got some very nice stuff there. Take a look, including about individual protection, but I think that's what we need to prepare for. We'll take some questions now. And please state your name, the organization which you represent. Keep your questions as brief as Commodore Uday, and we'll keep the answers as detailed as Colonel Arvind's. Quick questions, 2. Anybody? Okay. So she's told me we can take 8 minutes. Please, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Nikomanda Joshi, retired, and I'm founder of Fuji Aerial Systems Private Limited. My question to Commodore Uday is that this regarding the jammer which you have talked about, sir. We, like you talked about DJI system which is using the Oculus 4. But nowadays we are not using and we are not fighting against the DJI systems. DJI is basically for recreational purposes rather than military drones and all. So we are talking here about the non-conventional frequencies or non-ISM frequencies. There are frequencies you talked about 433 megahertz and above. There are some frequencies which are below that. So how we intend to jam those frequencies as jammers?
Yeah, I'll tell you this, that the jammer what we use is a barrage jamming, and we do anything from 20 megahertz to 6 gigahertz, any frequency. The frequency which I talked about was for detection of the jammer and classification of jammer. The barrage jamming continues at all the frequency bands. So even if it is we are not jamming that particular frequency, we do a barrage jamming with our jammer. So I hope that answers your question.
Somebody over here?
Sir, when we talk about the barrage jamming, I think we are not pumping in enough power for the whole barrage of the frequency.
We have for various frequency band, we are pumping out from 100 watt to 80 watt to 60 watt, depending upon on which frequency band you have a more probability of detection. So it's again a cat and mouse game, and DJI thing was just an example. See, I'll just give you an example. We supplied anti-drone system to Punjab Police, and what happened is that Punjab Police wants the drone to fall, whereas these days with the kind of drone technology it is extremely difficult for an anti-drone system to make the drone fall at that particular place, because they want to show that drugs are being sent. moment it detects there is a jamming going on, firstly that DGI, it is not only used for entertainment. The accusing 4 is such an encrypted signal, it is being used for all such activities. What I was trying to tell you is that unless you have a liaison with the company which is making that protocol, you may not be able to develop with the existing setup you have, develop a anti-drone system. So that was my example for DGI.
So we had a question somewhere over here. There's a gentleman who raised his hand. Somewhere. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
So it has to do with funding. So this is a technical session, so I think,
Okay.
I don't know whether it will be relevant or not.
Yeah, technology needs funding.
Yeah, technology needs funding to grow and grow.
Yes, but there would be a session specifically about that. I think
Yeah, that's
there's
right.
experts, so maybe you could ask that time. Any other questions, please?
Sir, may I, further
Yes.
to what sir has said, Group Captain Joshi, to that question, Wing Commander Joshi, to that question, what I want to say is, like futuristic, being ready for a future war. Pre-Sindoor, our systems are already deployed, which were wideband. Nobody else had that wideband. Everybody was focused only on the ISM bands. Not only were we up to 6 gigahertz, we had already started making 8 gigahertz. The moment Sindoor happened, the first time the user started realizing, he started putting wideband as a QR. The combat zone drones will not be, not necessarily be DJI or ISM drones. They will invariably be other than this. Plus the jamming, what sir was telling, that all these ISMs have a specific bandwidth. The lower side has got only 26 megahertz. Higher side may have 150 megahertz at the highest, 5.8 wala. So that is one thing. But what about the wideband spectrum? So there, like for example, we have systems of 200 megahertz bandwidth. Then high power, of course, like something like 1.5 kVA EIRP, kilowatt EIRP, and simultaneously there are so many channels that you can simultaneously tackle 6 or 7 drones. And not only future ready is, the moment Sindoor happened, we started this year January, we have launched 12 gigahertz wideband, 70 megahertz to 12 gigahertz without gap, 7 simultaneous frequency, 10 kilometers directional jamming, and it can go even 12 to 13. In my all demos I have given more than 12 kilometers. So that is possible. But sir has said one very, very pertinent point that there is one DJI Air 3S which is extremely resilient to jamming. What I do at 10 kilometers, in that case it comes down to 3-4 kilometers even in directional jamming. So it is such a smart technology that you cannot, it always knows where to look. He will just not look at your side. He will blind your sector from his receiver antenna. So that is the technology that is happening, null steering technique. So this is what is the jammer technology, and that 1000 ops per second, till 1000 ops per second we are able to tackle. So even DSSS and FHSS, all that has been catered in our systems. So like we have around 112 delivered big systems, and we are at the very high specs in terms of range as well as spectral coverage, 12 gigahertz. And one more lesson learnt in Sindoor is all the systems till then were about 50 degrees elevation coverage. So smartly the adversary came very high altitude and came directly over it. So now we have got the system for zenith coverage. So nothing can go undetected. There is no blind cone on top like the earlier system. So this is what being continuously available. And there is one more. We have entirely passive chain of detection and queuing and neutralizing. That also that has been created.
Okay, we'll have the last question. One last question. You could speak. I think we'll be able to hear you.
Good morning, sir. So my basic question is that for a young company like ours, so I'm Prateek Jain. I'm Prateek Jain from Homerocks Automations, and for a young company like ours, where would you suggest to look at while in the sector of anti-drone technology?
Okay, I'll answer that. For a young company like yours or any other young company, I keep giving this quote: innovation is seeing what everybody else is seeing and thinking what nobody else has thought. So if you are doing what everybody else is doing, or what, both of them have spoken about jamming and particular frequencies and difficulties in that. Anti-drone is much more than that. A Doppler, because of the rotor turning. Again, the firms there, go and have a look. Individual protection, starting from how do you make sure that the drone doesn't pick you up. the heat as well as whatever. He's detecting you based on something. And some drones will get away. If he drops the payload, how do you protect yourself? So there are a number of fields which my only advice to any startup which is just about starting off is always explore what has not been explored before. If you're doing what everybody else is doing, you're just one in the crowd. And I think with that, we'll wind up the thing. And we are exactly on time.